All right, the recording has started already. Okay, so let me please, can everybody mute themselves? Oh, can I mute everybody? Okay, please, in order not to make this chaotic, let everybody mute themselves. Okay, so thank you everybody for joining in this particular workshop, because it's actually a workshop. It started way, way, way before today, and today is like the capstone. So I'm going to tell you the agenda for today. The agenda for today. Oh, please. Let me mute myself. I'm coming. Okay, guys, sorry for the short break. Okay, so this is the agenda for today. I'm going to tell you, giving the welcome address, and then there's going to be the overview of what this particular workshop is about. Then I'll introduce our reviewers. You get to know, okay, who are the reviewers, and then we start our session with Jessica and Timonwa. Then we have questions and answers after. So yeah, let's move right in. So before I start, I'm just going to tell you a bit about this particular community. WeTech is an initiative committed to supporting, connecting, inspiring, and guiding women in tech. If you want to network, or you want to access information, or you want a close-knitted community, then please come join WeTech. If you've not joined WeTech, please, Omota, can you share the link to join this community here? Because I'm not sure it's everybody that is already on the community. So yeah, our vision is to run program and events that is going to empower women in tech, not only just women. We are also into girls in the university, or women or ladies. Anyways, so far your gender is female and you are sure that you're females, we are there for you, because we would like to build bridge the gender gap in Africa, not only in Lagos or in Nigeria. Okay. Please, Ekaike, can you mute yourself? Okay. Thank you. All right, so we've had programs such as the University Ambassador Program, the Female Founders Program, we have conferences, and we also give venture capital. And please, if you've not registered for our conference yet, and you're a female founder, I don't know what you're waiting for, because that particular conference is packed, and we can't wait to host everybody there, because we have a whole lot of lined up activities. So our community is made up of 2,000 plus community members. And if you are our community member, you are not following us on Twitter, Instagram, or LinkedIn, you are wrong, though. So yeah, let's move into this particular workshop. So this workshop, it's not just a day event, which is just today, Saturday. I know most people would think, okay, we just started the program today. That started like a week ago. So we bring, the initiative is basically, we ran a poll on our community channel, and we realized that lots of people actually in their transitioning phase, or they are seeking to get a new role, or they are seeking to get lots of opportunities. So we now say, okay, what is the first step in bagging your dream role, which is definitely the first thing anybody, a recruiter or any company that wants to see you, that wants to hire you, would first come across with, is your resume or your portfolio, either your online presence, LinkedIn, Twitter, or even your portfolio itself. So, and then we've come across series of resumes, and we've seen lots of questions has been raised. So then we're like, okay, we would take the first step, in which we have full lined up events and activities towards linking our talent with companies, which is to come up soon. But we are looking at this particular program to make it the first step in bagging your dream role. So this particular event started on Thursday. We had people register for these events, and we had an onboarding for the reviewers on Thursday. So if you submitted your resume and your portfolio, look out for an email from us, because everybody's resume is currently being reviewed. everybody's portfolio is currently being reviewed. Don't think it is on this session we are going to do that particular reviewing. It is already in progress since Thursday. So yeah, today's session, we are just going to have a talk on what exactly your resume is supposed to entail, what exactly is supposed to be on your portfolio. And we have two special guests here with us, which is Jessica and Timonwa. So they are going to be coming in one after the other in order to talk to us, so that by the time your resume gets reviewed and your portfolio gets reviewed, you would not still go back to the same mistake that has been highlighted today in the event, that okay, oh, there's this particular mistake, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. Then you now go back again and then spoil the whole thing that we are currently building. So it's currently like a build-up phase for us. We've started reviewing the resumes, and then we'll start linking our talents to companies or recruiters and hosts. So yeah, we would like to use this moment to celebrate our reviewers. Please, wherever you are, please use the clapping emoji, the love emojis for the people that's taking out their time to review the you people's resume and portfolio. It is definitely not a small work. And use this opportunity to thank Esther, use this opportunity to thank Damilola, Faith, wherever you are. Thank you, Teresa. Thank you, Arike. Thank you, Uche. Thank you, Anu. Thank you very much. So please, can I see your emojis, your love? Let me see. Let me bring it up. Please tell them thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, guys. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you to all the reviewers. They are currently going through a very tough time because we said they should take their time in reviewing everybody's resume one after the other. So thank them. So let's move on into the program for today. So today we'll be starting with our very own Jessica. She's going to be talking to us about building impressive resumes. I know you will have questions, but at no point during our talk should you omit yourself or anything. If you have questions, you can drop them in the chat channel. So at this point, I'll be using this opportunity to invite Jessica. Before I do, I'm going to read out our portfolio about. So who is Jessica? Jessica is a visionary senior product manager. She transforms ideas into impactful solutions. She started as a computer science student at Wellspring University. She then brings innovation and keen understanding of the intersection between business objectives and user needs. With a stellar career at 9th grade and Rise Best Technology, hope you even know Rise at 9th grade, Jessica elevates products to new heights. A strategic mindset and hands-on experience in product strategy, design, and development consistently boosts revenue and market share, leaving users delighted and loyal. A digital maestro, Jessica seamlessly blends technical prowess with creative finesse. So this Jessica bio is giving chills here and there, because she not only know how to do her thing, she's a senior product manager. She has worked at different fine fintech companies. If you know Rise Best, you know what I'm talking about. So with a clapping ovation, with lots of love, would like to welcome Jessica. Guys, can I see the emojis going around? Hi, Jessica. Are you there? Say hi.
Hello, everyone. Please confirm you can hear me.
I can hear you, but it seems your audio is quite low. Or can everybody hear her?
Let me increase my volume. Is this better?
Yes, this is better. I can hear you. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen now, so you can have the floor.
Okay. So hi guys, hello everyone. Thank you to the Week Tech team for having me. Happy to be here. Today we're going to be talking about resume your CV basically. What should be in it, what should not be in it, what you should focus on, and what you should not focus on. So please confirm you can see my screen clearly.
Yes, I can see your screen.
Okay, awesome. So I've tagged this topic, preparing your best CV. We're going to be covering things from introduction to resume building, structuring your CV, showcasing your skills, and then formatting and editing. So introduction, I'd just like to say, so I won't go, I will follow the particular order, but then I won't be using my slides basically. So you could feel free to read the slides if you see anything interesting like that. You want to pay attention to. Someone's mic is unmuted and is very.
Going to unmute person. Okay, thank you.
Awesome, thank you. So I believe everybody here knows what a CV is. It's what represents you in professional mode. So a CV is what represents you. Sorry, please mute your mics. Queen. So a CV is what represents you in the professional world. It's what showcases you before people get to meet you. And if you don't get the step right, you're almost not going to make it, basically, except you're not getting a job through application. But if you know you're constantly, if you're looking to get a job through job application, it's very important that your CV is well crafted and tells your unique story. So I know that we've heard this thing a lot. You know, people always say, write your CV, write your CV. And I also know that there are some people that are like, that were like me, because I used to be like that. I used to feel like CV wasn't so much of a big deal. And then I had a friend who constantly told me to update my CV for 1 whole year, and I didn't listen. So, but at the point when the person was just constantly repeating, I was like, okay, let me just take advice and really look at my CV thoroughly, you know, and edit it properly. And then when I did that, that was like a very huge turning point in my job search journey. So I want to believe that there will nobody will be here that will be like me, that when they say, oh, CV is important, you still feel too lazy. I know that feeling of laziness of, let me just pretend in there, I beg, they'll call me. That 50-50 chance thing that we do to feel like, okay, I can just do anything, they will call me. It's better for you to be 100%, you know, come correct, like they say, come ready, and be sure that whenever they see your CV, that is going to get you through the door. Let it be a situation that most likely that role, maybe the role is not really suited for your experience. That's why they didn't call you. Than a role that is fully suited for your experience and you don't get called because you have a bad CV. So I know it could be daunting and very tasking to edit your CV very often and make sure that your CV is up to date, but I'm employing us and encouraging us that your CV is a very important step in your career journey. Even after you've gotten a job, even after, you know, you've moved on, you've become a senior or you've become global, your CV is still very important because that's what's going to tell your story when you're not there. That's what people are going to see. That's what they're going to read about you before they eventually get to meet you. So I like us to discard that mindset that, you know, that 50-50 mindset or that partial energy that will bring to CV. So I like us to discard it today and permanently not pick it up again. So I'm going to be moving forward. So like I just said, the purpose of CV is to, excuse me, the purpose of a CV is to show your professional identity, your achievements, you know, your educational background, your work experience, your skills that you have, and you know, you have to also tailor it to the audience that you're speaking to. So the way I would like to look at the CV, because like what the person who introduced me said, what she said in the beginning, she said that she knows that a lot of us here are beginners. So I know that beginners have a different pain points than people who are seniors. So I'm going to sort of tailor this talk to beginners, like the things that I did that were right when I was the beginner. So when I say beginner, what I mean is most likely you don't have so much experience in a particular field, or you have so much experience in one field, and then you're looking to transition into another field, which you have less experience. So that's what I mean by beginners. So you know the purpose of a resume, everybody knows that you have to tailor it to your audience. You know, the basic people who literally look at your resume are recruiters. and employers. And you should know that they are humans. They have issues. Their minds are full of so many things. They are in their own space or in their own frame of mind. So you have to do everything that is on your part. You can't just assume, you can't just write a CV that looks anyhow and then assume that, oh, the reviewer will figure it out, or the recruiter will figure it out, or the HR will figure it out. You have to make it easy for them so that they don't have to think. Like, I like you to look at something and not stress my mind to think, basically. So you have to ensure that your CV looks like that. Like, they could just look at your CV and what the CV is about is three. So that's the purpose of the CV.
Jessica, it seems your audio is bad or your network is bad.
Okay, sorry.
Breaking.
It's like I was breaking.
Hi, Jessica, is today. Okay, it seems Jessica has some technical issues. Okay, so while we are waiting for her to be back, let me
Sorry,
check.
I'm back. Get to
Okay.
check my internet. Yeah.
Okay,
So
thank you. Go on then.
I'm sorry for that. So it doesn't break again. So like I was saying, those are like the primary people who are going to receive the recruiters and the HR personnel. So you have to make it easy for them. You should not make them guess, like, they should just look at your CV. We're going to be looking at key pointers that makes it a lot easy.
Yeah, you said you should what?
That makes it easy for recruiters to, like, view your CV and stuff like that. So structuring your CV. So I like to start from
Hi, Jessica. Okay. You are mute.
Yeah. So when we say very clear and professional contact details, the name heading. So I like to, let me see if I can show example, because I have a sample template of the CV here. So I'll just see if I can open it. But everybody knows that heading, which the first thing that should be on your CV should be your name, and it should be a bigger font than the rest fonts that you use to write your CV. So what that means is that if your CV is a 10, the text size for your CV is a 10 font size, the name should be like a 12 or a 13, so that it stands out. So when I look at your CV immediately, I just know that this CV belongs to Chioma without second guessing. Like, and if anybody's into design here, you will know that there's a rule of thumb about hierarchy in designs. So for example, let me use the screen that you have on now. If you look at the screen first, what's the first thing that jumps at you is structuring your resume. That's the very first thing that you see before you start to maybe look at the icons, and then maybe because the orange color picks your eye, because you see orange, and which is a bit brighter than purple. And then before you even try to read the orange and then now try to read the text. But the very first thing that jumps at you is structuring your resume. So that's the same way that when you have a CV, the very first thing that should jump at you, it should be your name. So the HR should not be guessing, because sometimes when people write their name in smaller fonts, and because it's not jumping at the person, they try to read the details of the CV, and they're like, okay, it's good, this person fits into what we're looking for, and they try to keep it outside. But maybe they didn't keep it like separated. So maybe later they're trying to sort and they forget your name because your name didn't jump out at them. If this is the only page that you look at today in this presentation, I'm very sure that structuring your resume will jump at you. You will always remember that heading. So that's the same way when you're writing your CV. Your name should be really bold, like I said. Whatever font size you're using, add 2 extra points to it, and it should be really bold, it should be really clear, it should be really concise. The next thing that should follow should be your email address, your contact details. So I advise people not to put I don't advise people not to put like their residential address because of security issues and so many other safety stuff. So don't ever put your residential address. In fact, for me personally, if I'm looking to target international jobs, I don't put Lagos, Nigeria. I only put it if I'm asked, because there's a bias that if someone is an international job you're trying to get and the person doesn't like somebody that is from Nigeria, maybe because of whatever bias or things they've heard about Nigerians, they will never look at your CV. Once you just Lagos, Nigeria, they could just put your CV there. So it's good to save yourself the stress and let them really meet you through your CV. So I tell people, don't put your residential address, number one. Some people, if the job is too far, if it's a Nigerian job, and let's say you're looking for somebody in Lagos and you're in Enugu, even though you're willing to relocate and you're the best person for the job, as long as they see that you're in Enugu, they're most likely not going to call you. So I always tell people, don't put your residential address. If you're looking to apply for international jobs, do not put Lagos, Nigeria. But if you're applying for jobs here in Nigeria, you could just put Lagos, Nigeria. You could just put Lagos, Nigeria on your as your residential address, and that's fine. So next thing should your email, your phone number, put your put the +234 on your phone numbers, link your email address. I always tell people I link my email address in such a way that if you click on it, it takes you straight to an email. In case you want to email me, you don't have to stress yourself to start copying and pasting. So if you have an email browser linked on your computer and as a repeater you want to email me, all you have to do is click on it and your email will open with my email address there. So those are like little things that makes it very easy to get contacted by the recruiter or the HR company. Then another thing too is to add your portfolio link. So if you have a portfolio, which everybody should have a portfolio, mostly people who are looking to get into tech now, you should have a portfolio. Every single person should have a portfolio. So if you have a portfolio, you could put your portfolio link top after your contact details. Your portfolio link should follow next. And if your portfolio link is long, you don't have to put like the whole length of the link. You could just hyperlink it to a particular text. So you could say portfolio here, say portfolio here, and then hyperlink it to such a way that when they click on it, it will redirect them to your portfolio. If you don't know what hyperlink is, you could just Google it. I will not be explaining that to save time. So, but if you have a really long portfolio link, don't put, so it just looks even, your name just goes like the staircase kind of setting, and then it's not looking all scattered, Those are like the little nitty-gritty things that gives you like a very, very detailed CV, and, just makes your CV look organized. So I'll go to the next part, which is concise and impactful personal story or summary. This is my best part in CV because I've seen that a lot of beginners always struggle with this part. So I always hear people say, oh, I don't have experience. Oh, I don't have specific experience. I tell people that no matter the field I want to transition into, I can craft my CV to suit that field. So let me give you an example. I started my career first as a designer. I was once a graphic designer, product designer, and I moved from product design. So when I was doing design for a while, and then I knew I was very good in marketing and I wanted to explore marketing, I had to craft my CV for marketing. So I moved from being a designer to marketing. And then I moved from being a marketer, a digital marketer, to being a product manager. And I moved very seamlessly because I understood certain things I'm going to be sharing here today. I didn't say, when I was going to move from being a designer to being a marketer to being a product manager, I never said I didn't have experience, because that's what most people say. Oh, I don't have experience in this thing. I don't have experience in that thing. I tell people, most people averagely, on the average, who will be looking for jobs, they'll be between, let's say, give or take 18 to 20, 24, 25. As long as you've lived 18 years on earth, you have experience. Your day-to-day life is experience. If you sold and did an online business, you have experience. If you were in SUG in school, you have experience, you have leadership experience. If when you went to NYC, you were leader for one thing or the other, you have experience. It's now based on how you craft that story. and how you tell that story in line with the job role that you're looking for. The second rule I would like to state is, do not have a generic CV for every role. You will never land a job. That's like the wrongest way to look for a job, and like that's like the wrongest way to get into tech. So I hear people say, oh, I want to get into tech. When you want to get into tech, be very specific on which area of tech you want to get to. Okay, I want to get into customer service, or I want to get into digital marketing, or I want to get into product management. It's better when you stay and advise people, I advise beginners have to. When I started my career, because I read computer science, so I was a bit into tech. So, but when I left school, when I finished NYC and I wanted to work, I had options. I had jobs that I said I would never apply for, and I never applied for them. There are some people who are graced in those areas. For example, I said to myself, I'll never apply for an admin job or a PA job. But I have a friend. She's like the best admin person on earth I have ever met. If that girl is not in admin, she cannot be in any other thing, because she's so organized. She remembers everybody. We could be a group of 100 people and she'll remember all of us' birthday. She will never miss a birthday. So, if that's your area of strength, fine. But I knew personally that was not my area of strength. Those are like not the things that I enjoy doing. So I tell people, before you even say, okay, you want to jump into a career, understand yourself. I knew the things I like doing. I knew, for example, that I wasn't going to write code. I'm not going to be a developer. I knew I've never attempted to be one, to be a developer. Maybe in the future I'll go into cloud and things that don't really have serious coding. But I have never one time intended to be a back-end or front-end developer where I was sitting and write codes all my life. And if that is you, that's beautiful. But I already knew myself that my strong point was in my thought process. So I had a list of jobs that I said I was never going to apply for. So it's not a situation of where you have one generic CV, and because you have one generic CV, you're applying to all the jobs. You're using that CV to apply to digital marketing. You're using that CV to apply to product management. You're using that CV to apply to front end. You are never, ever going to get land an interview. How much more a role? Except maybe divine intervention. But you're most likely never going to land a job with that kind of strategy, or it's just be by chance. So if you want to go into tech, you're not so quite sure, I tell people have two options. Maybe I want to be a product manager or a data analyst. Those very two job roles are very related. And when you then pick them, you now think, okay, my experience that I've had over the years, how can I tailor it to suit a data analyst or to suit a PM? So you then have two CVs. Then you can now use the one for the PM job application, and the one for the data analyst for the data analyst application. So it's always tailor suit your CV to the role. The PM CV, if you want to be a front end, if you want to be a back end, have CVs that are specific for a specific role. So your experience or your story will have to be tailored in that direction. So how do you tell your story now that, oh, I've been a very effective product manager? What do people see? So you have to then now sit down to see. So what I tell people in the beginning is, mostly if you're trying to land a very, very good job, you have jobs and they're very, very good job. Take your time and look at the JD of all these companies that hire. Go for international companies. Go to Microsoft, for example. They hire product managers, or go to any other. If you want to work in the startup space, for example, I've always been in the startup space all my life. So I'm a startup person. So if you want to work in the startup space, which are your favorite startups that are hiring for roles that that they have like really good job functions? Go to them, look at the JDs that they have. Okay, how is it crafted? What is required? What is required for me? Then when you know what is required of you, how in the 18 years or in 20 years of your life, how have your experience fit into what is required? Okay, somebody's looking to do like a data analyst role. Somebody's looking to do like a data analyst role, and you've been a club captain, for example, or in some public universities, so people are class captains, they assist lecturers in grading, they assist lecturers in analyzing results. How can you craft that? It's also with the terminologies that you use, like people say, people always laugh at people on LinkedIn that somebody can say,
Um,
So,
Hi Jessica. Since we lost for like
changing
2 minutes, your network is
a
breaking
bomb.
again.
Oh, this is what I need and stuff like that. Why I don't believe in going over the boards. Okay, sorry about that.
All right, why should fix technical issue? I hope we've been learning some things because I've been dropping some gems that has just been coming through this particular session. So if you've gotten anything, your pen and notes should be close to you by now. If not, check out the chat and see the things we've dropped. I think we've been having some discussion on the chat concerning when she mentioned we should not put our address on her CVs. Ha, even that one I don't know because I'm also guilty concerning that particular hero. So especially when applying for international roles, like she mentioned, try to avoid putting your address. And then for security reasons, I know most of us will just say Lagos, Nigeria, Port Harcourt, Nigeria. So which that I don't think it's bad, but now I've been saying it's bad because, for example, if you're interested in international roles and you know people, they can be biased, or so input that maybe, well, it's good to put your name anyways. So the address part is not good. And then she said, don't use one CV for all job posts you come across. Try to always modify your CV when you see a particular JD, which is job description. And she said everybody has an experience. So either so far you are on this earth, your day-to-day experience is your experience. You should be able to know how to perfectly craft your CV to look like what you are currently applying for. Let me see, is Jessica back?
Yes, I have.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you can go and then please share your screen. I don't think you can see your screen again.
Yes, can you see my screen?
No.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can anybody see our screen? I can't see our screen anyways. I can't see your screen yet.
Okay, let me try sharing it again. Okay, can you see
Yes, I think it's coming
screen
on now. Yes, perfect.
Okay. So like I was saying, you have experience, everybody has experience. Tell your story uniquely, think through the experience. And if you don't have experience, you can always create one for yourself. I always tell people, you want to be a friend, and the easiest way to do it is find a project group. Yeah, in fact, if you go on Udemy, if you even go online, you could check you see thousands of portfolio suggestions, projects that you could do to get your hands dirty. So if you feel like you want to go into the technical space, because I know that a lot of people want to go into technical space and have that issue, you build something, make it go live, build a website, you want to be a web developer, build a website, and insert the link on your CV, have it on your portfolio. Reaching out to say, okay, what have you done? You can say, okay, this is what I've done, and this is what I've done. And if you're transitioning from done a bit of accounting, and they have very solid financial background or knowledge, and they want to go into product management, some people very good in the fintech space because they have very strong understanding of the financial space. So how do you now infuse technology into your knowledge of finance? That's what fintech is. It's just technology and finance put together. So how do you infuse that knowledge of everything you've done in finance, and then now say to somebody, oh, you can hire me as a fintech product manager because I have so and so knowledge. So it's a lot of brainstorming work. It's a lot of brainstorming work. It's a lot of brainstorming work. It requires effort, a lot of thinking efforts. So, but if you do the work, it will definitely be worth the reward. So take note of that. So like I said, allow your CV to your desired job roles, one specific CV for one specific job role, not generic. Never do generic. Make up your mind that these are two fields I'm looking to get into. If you're looking to get into tech, or the two sector of tech I'm looking to get into, and put in the work, and don't give up too soon. I see a lot of people, they give up too soon because they can't wait. They just feel like, oh, I've been applying for jobs for 2 months. And when somebody says to me, oh, I've been applying for jobs for 2 months, I like to know how many applications you've done. You've been applying for jobs for 2 months, but you've done 4 applications per month. That's not application, you know. And you just see somebody who have do just 4 applications a month. Just say, oh, I'm tired, I don't see this sense from me, and they want to give up. So don't give up, persist, put in your best foot, and put in the work. And that's why we're here. That's what we tech is trying to do. We're trying to say, okay, learn how to do your CV, because your CV is what gets you through the door in the first place. And then when you've gotten through the door, you then now learn tips and tricks of interviews. Maybe they will do a section for you on that, on how to ace interviews and stuff like that. And then when you now learn the section on interviews, it's not easy for you to move forward. So I move forward in my slides. So like I said, create a skill section. I'm still going to share I'm going to share like a CV template so you could see how it follows, and you could see how all that highlighting is going to show. So create a skill section that aligns with your job requirement. I've said that use keywords. I like to emphasize on using keywords. Keywords are very important, and every industry has specific keywords that pertain to their front end, have their own keywords, back end have their own keywords. You can't say you want to do back end, you don't know what servers are, you don't know what microservices are. Those things are very important. So know the keywords that are pertaining to the area that you want to major in, and infuse those keywords in your CV. Because what you find these days is a lot of times, a lot of companies, recruitment companies, have automated CV sorting. So no longer we want HR to sit down and be looking at CV one by one. They just automate it with AI. And what do? They feed the AI specific keywords, and they say, okay, is this keywords found in this person's CV? These 45 keywords found in this person's CV, shortlist this person for an interview. And that's the reason why that is done, because they know that anybody who is serious in this field should have or should know what those keywords are about. So, for example, in product management, you should know what a PRO is, you should know what a product backlog is, you should know what sprint planning is, you should just know certain things. So those keywords have to always reflect in your CVs. Like, those are very, very important things that you should note. So, like I said, proper spacing between sections, bullet points, no writing that is clustered. I gave you an example. When you look at something, your eyes should just be, the CV should have a focus. Like, somebody's eye should just be caught with maybe the heading, or the bullet points, or the place that you use the bolding text. So those little things, make your CV stand out and make your CV unique. So don't put like a clustered CV that there's no space, because you're trying to overwrite things. I tell people, don't overwrite things. Like the guidelines that we take say your CV should not be more than 2 pages. Don't overwrite. Pick your best foot and put it there. You don't need to write everything that you've done in the job. Pick the key ones that you did and put it on your CV. The ones that cannot enter, keep it for when you meet the person. You cannot share it with the person what you did. So don't make your CV look clustered. Then ensure you don't have grammatical errors. Read through it, use the right languages, and you're fine. So like I always say, tell your story confidently. Tell your story confidently. That's like very, 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 very important. I don't know how to emphasize this. Confidence makes a huge difference. It makes a lot of difference. Confidence is usually the reason why one person is hired and the other person is not. So don't be intimidated. Don't be shy. I think some people are actually shy too. Don't be intimidated. Don't be shy. Don't feel left out. And sometimes I feel like some people, when they have they've had so much negativity or negative feedback, they just feel like, oh, I can't do this. And then it just affects how they perform. So don't let all those things affect you. So this is just like an example. You can see my name is boldly written. I have my address. I don't already put my address like I told you guys. I have phone number here. I told you what to put in the address, phone number. If you have a personal website, you can put its email. So if you click this email, it's supposed to take you to, like I explained to you, then your portfolio. So don't put your whole portfolio link here, just put like portfolio here and then hyperlink it. So objective, your 30 seconds elevator pitch. This is what most recruiters read first time. So you have to ensure it's well crafted. You have to ensure it tells your story in the best way. You have to ensure you use the right keywords so that once they read it, they get like, okay, interested. So what I have here is I'm a result-oriented product manager and growth consultant with success developing and launching multiple products and growth strategies. A partnership specialist with success developing business strategies and relationships with corporate partners and initiatives. I've improved this over the years. This is just a sample, but it's not what I have on my CV, but it's just to show you. It should not be more than 3 lines, basically. Just very short, very concise, something that tells a story. And then second thing to note is if you are new, if you're a recent graduate, your education should follow next after your elevation speech. Your objective, your education should follow next. But if you have experience, let's say you've been 5 years, 6 years, it's fine. People want to know more of your experience. But if you are a new graduate and you're just leaving school and you have very good results, so you have a first class, you should put it there and state it. I went to school, graduated with this with first class, you had a second class offer. You should say, if you had a 2 or 3rd class, don't state it. But if you had a very good result, you should state it. You should have the year there. So this should go up after objective. But if you have sorry, someone saying something.
Yeah, Jessica, we didn't
if you have
like 2 seconds, so can you please back up a little?
I didn't get that. Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Yes, your line was, your audio was breaking at some point. So
yeah, what did you say?
So we didn't hear some of the words you might have
Okay,
said.
is this better?
Yes, I can hear you very well now.
Oh, okay. Okay. So I was saying that your education should go forward, and if you have a very good result, state it. So if you had a first class, put it there. Let it show. If you had a second class offer, state it. And say if you're the best graduating student, you could also put it there. Best graduating student, University of Ibadan, 2017 sets. So if you're a recent graduate, 2017 is not a recent graduate. It's like 2022, 2023, people are just leaving school, put it there so that it can give you like a leverage. So they can say, oh, okay, that's interesting. That's something interesting about you. And then they could now take more interest in the other parts of your CV. So experience, the company, your title, the location. I know some people put location. If it's Nigerian job, fine. Like I said, international jobs to discriminate. But if it's Nigerian job, feel free to put the location, the year and the month. So if you're still there, you put the present. If you're not there, you put the time that you left. So October 2022 to November 2024, stuff like that, you put it. So achievements, your product launch, the impact it had, if you got any awards, best customer service lead, best staff, whatever, you put it there. It should not be longer than 2 lines. Don't put achievement that is 5 lines. You're not going to read it. It should not be longer than 2 lines. Please take note of that. So responsibilities, actions. If you look at how it follows, the keywords, like I explained to you, it will differ based on your industry or whatever you're looking to. Every industry has their specific keywords. The scope of what you covered and the impact. So action, keywords, scope, and impact. Those are very key important things. So I'll give you an example. Interview customers, which is an action, and study market trends, which is an action, to understand their needs, yes, and converted them to actionable engineering facing user stories, prioritizing user stories and requirements. Anybody who's in product management will understand that this is the activity of a product manager. So it's already gives you like an edge. So for the achievements, here an example of the achievement: increase adoption by 30%. I always tell people to be able to quantify the achievements. Don't just say increase adoption. By how many percent? Any serious companies will ask you that question. So don't say I have to double the company's AUM. By how many percent? Or increase the company's AUM. You could say by 20% or by 50%, or increase company revenue, whatever. But quantify your achievements. Exceeding goals by 3x and accelerating revenue up to plus 20%. That's just
Jessica, I think you should be wrapping up by now. Our time is.
yes, I am. So
Right.
that's same thing. So this is the same thing. People with less experience, this is just like an example. So skills, you know, technical skills. This is how I like to write my skills. I like to write technical language, collaboration skills, you know, tools that you use Figma, CorelDRAW, the stack. If you're a front end and back end, there's specific stack, you could put it there, and just things particular to that industry. So the last thing I also want to say is that don't put your reference. If they want your reference, they will ask you for it. So don't put reference, don't put anybody's name, don't put anybody's phone number for security purposes. If they have specific reference, they will ask you for it. So I hope that you learned a thing or two, and I encourage you to take your CV journey very seriously. Thank you for having me.
Wow, that was a very enlightening section. Thank you so much. Please, can we tell Jessica thank yous, use emojis, love emojis, clap emojis. Just tell her thank you. So there are lots of controversies in the chat session. Now, if you've been to our chat, you see lots of questions. But you said this, but you said that. And even myself, I have lots of questions. So I would say you should just take your time to go through the chat while we have the other session quickly, so that by the time we have our question and answer, it will not just end there. So yeah, thank you so much, Jessica. So now I'll be introducing our next speaker, because Jessica only talked on crafting a good resume. We have questions, we have lots of questions, I know, but let us quickly move on to building a strong tech portfolio. You know, Jessica mentioned that everybody should have a portfolio, in which I know lots of questions. Even myself, I have questions around that. So how should we then build a strong tech portfolio? What should we look out? What should be there and what should not be there? So now I'll be calling on Timonwa. Timonwa Akintokun is a software engineer, a technical writer, and advocate for open source. And she's also passionate about crafting seamless user experiences and sharing knowledge through her writings. So without further ado, Timonwa, please, you have the stage. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the introduction, and I'm happy to be here to speak to awesome ladies today. So, like she said, my name is Timonwa, and I've had the privilege of working in tech industries for like 4 years now as a software engineer and as a technical writer. So I've worked on a number of different projects, both as a freelancer and as a full-time developer. And I've also written a lot of articles, both on my personal blog and for other blogs like Logrocket and Turing and other companies. So, like she said, today I'll be talking about something really important in everyone's tech career, which is a portfolio, whereby a portfolio is well, it's not just about showcasing your skills. Actually, it's a way of narrating your story. Like, it talks about your unique strengths, your contributions, and who you are as a tech person, whether you're a developer, a designer, a project manager, or anything. So it basically talks about your story and your journey in tech. So let's see. Why does a portfolio matters? So sorry, I can't share my screen. I didn't create a slide. So maybe after the talk, I would create a slide and share it with the WeTech team, and then they will send it to you. So why does a portfolio matters? Let's start with why a portfolio matters in the tech industry. So your portfolio is essentially your professional storybook, right? It showcases your skills, your journey, and your achievements. And it is a way for you to stand out in the crowd. Like, everybody, for example, everybody wants to be in tech, right? And the job market is, will I say, saturated. Like, when you want to apply for a job now, you see that there are a lot of people. You are in competition with other people. There are some who might have more skills than you. There are some who might have less skills than you. But at the end of the day, it is the person who is able to craft their story very well through their CV, through their portfolio, through their cover letter that is going to get paid. Because there are some instances where you see that you and somebody, like, you have the skills, you have the expertise, you have everything needed. But at the end of the day, it is someone whose skills and expertise is less than your own that they might pick. And it's not because of maybe nepotism or maybe the favoritism or something. It is about the way the person was able to package himself and tell his own story. Like, there was someone one time on Twitter who there was a guy that they were dragging on Twitter one time that said on his CV is a CEO, CTO of so many startups in under 2 years. I don't want to mention the person's name. So the reason why many companies were able to reach out to him for him to be a CTO or for them to travel him out to different countries and stuff like that was because he was able to package himself and his branding online. Like, when it comes to branding and packaging, he was able to do that very well online and sell himself on Twitter. That was the way people were able to reach out to him and give him jobs. It is at the end of the day when they finally gave at the end of the day when they finally give that person the job, and when it's time for you to prove yourself, that's when they will now actually know that, okay, whatever this person was doing, maybe it was just packaging that the person was doing, right? So as a person who is looking to get a job, you should be able to package yourself well, be able to sell yourself well, and sell your story. It is story that makes people get the job done. Like, apart from favoritism, or I know somebody, or I'm referring somebody, if it's just you and yourself and God, it's only you and God that you have to get that job. This is how you package yourself well, that will help you to get that job. So the next one is, what goes into a tech portfolio? So what do you want to showcase in your tech portfolio? So the first thing, which is the way Jessica said, that your objective is a 30-second summary of who you are, and it is in that 30 seconds that will determine whether the HR or the person reviewing your CV is going to continue to look into your CV or not. So it's the same thing as it's the same thing as the introduction section of your tech portfolio. So you begin your portfolio with a brief introduction of who you are, like, for example, who you are, what sparked your interest in tech. Then you highlight your skills and technologies that you're proficient in, and so many other things like that. So it is also like a 30 seconds way for you to pitch yourself as to what you are and what you can do. So, like, for example, in your resume or CV, where it is just where your objective or summary is supposed to be like a three lines, or 3 sentences. In your portfolio, it can be more than that, because you have more space to showcase yourself. And depending on how you structure your portfolio, whether your portfolio is like a 1 page or is like a 3 page website or something, it could be that in the landing page, your introductory section can be maybe 3 or 4 lines, and then you can have a link that links to your about page. So your about page can be where, if they want to know more details about you, more lengthy details about you, they can click on that link and know more about you on that page. But on your main landing page, it's something that should be short, concise, but also tell who you are at the same time. Cover so many details of who you are, like I said, who you are, how you got into tech, or the skills that you are proficient in, like that. So after that, after showcasing yourself, your introduction and everything, the next thing that should show is okay, like, you introduced yourself, you introduce the skill sets that you have. The next thing that should come after it is your projects. So, for example, if you are a front-end developer, you might want to show the websites that you've built. If you are a back-end developer too, also, you might want to show some websites that you have worked on the back end for, right? If you are a designer, you want to show your designs that you've worked on, whether is the ones you built, you designed personally, or the live project, like maybe, for example, you were part of the people who you were part of the designers that worked on the Kuda banking app now. So instead of just showcasing your Figma file, you can't even showcase your Figma file because those are private documents for the company. So you can link to Kuda that okay, you have a link to the Kuda app or the Kuda website that you were part of the people who worked on the design for the Kuda website. If it is an app where you might not be able to link to the app, you can still link to the website, but you can emphasize that it was the app that you worked on, but not the website itself. So if you are a product manager also, I don't you maybe you list the project you worked on as a product manager or something. So different tech industry has different project styles that you can list, right? And then also the number of projects that you can list is 2 to 3, or at worst maybe 5. So I would say, like for example, if it is a one page portfolio, I think the maximum you could list is 5. That's the maximum you can list is 5. But if it is like maybe your website is like a 2, 3, 5 pages, maybe you can just list like 2 or 3 of the most important ones that your featured projects on your landing page. Then you can have a link that goes to where they can go to another page to see all the other projects you have worked on. But at the end of the day, the most important thing is to feature the projects that help you that stands out, that are most important to you, that showcase how experienced you are in your field. So what's it? So as you are listing those projects, you don't just list them out, you don't just put the link there. You put details, like you can have more details about it, like okay, oh, I worked on so. Like for example, I and again it's in 2 ways. Like the first one is you are a beginner, right? Or let's talk about beginners. You are a beginner, so you might not actually have live projects to show on. Like live projects meaning that you worked for a company and the company is live and people can actually click a link to see the work you've done. So you might not have that as a beginner, but you have projects that you built by yourself. Like for example, if you are designer now, UI designer as a beginner, what you have are maybe case studies that maybe you did a redesign of Netflix now. That your case studies that you saw some issues with the UI, with the user experience of Netflix, and you want to fix it. So that's an example that one of your project example as a designer is redesign of the Netflix landing page, or yeah, the Netflix landing page. That your case study is that okay, there are some issues there, maybe some features were not there, and then you decided to add it. That if you were to work on for Netflix now and you were to make some changes to the app, this is what you are going to do. Then you will now tell the story of what made you think about it. That okay, when I was trying to look for particular search for a particular movie, maybe it was showing some particular error or something, but the way they handled the error wasn't quite explanatory enough, and it is something that you saw as a problem and you decided to solve it through your own design. So when you are adding your project, especially for projects that are not live, you talk about what was the way what problem were you trying to solve and how did you solve that problem, stuff like that. Same thing as a beginner in maybe front end or back end now, or let's use front end for example. So as a beginner now, most of the projects you might especially if you are maybe you just finished learning HTML, CSS and JavaScript, right? And the projects that you have are simple projects like maybe a weather app or a to-do list, all those simple basic projects, right? And those projects are something that as a most if not every beginner are going to have on their own portfolio. So now the problem is, how do you stand out? How does your own to-do list or weather app stand out from other people's to-do list and weather app? Because you might not be skilled enough to build unique projects that will stand up, like maybe like an e-commerce website or stuff like that. But all you have to do right now that you can showcase for your skills is the basic ones. So how are you going to stand out? The way you can stand out is the narrative of that project. Okay, you built a to-do app, right? But what was your thought process to building that to-do app? Like, what were your challenges that you faced? How did you solve that challenges? It is the story that comes with all those basic projects that is going to make you stand out. The person will be like, so the person would be like, oh, this is another to-do app, everybody's doing it, but they see that you added the story to it. I'm like, this is interesting. Let me see what this person has to say, right? And then you talk about your thought process, you talk about what you learned, you talked about maybe, for example, you use the mapping function or the math function in JavaScript, and then you talk about, okay, I have not heard about this, was how I use this particular function to solve a particular problem. And sometimes even the person that is going to review it will be like, so this is something that they've not learned before, and or they've used it before, but they've not used it in the perspective of how you used it. So they can also learn from stuff like that also. Another way as a beginner to showcase projects, for example, to showcase unique projects, is collaboration. Like, for example, you are a front end developer, you have a friend who is a back end developer, and then you have a friend who is a designer. The three of you can come together to work on a project. The designer can come up with a unique design that is different. So it's not going to be a design that maybe you cloned a Netflix, or you cloned the Google landing page or something. It's going to be something that is unique and different. That if someone even sees it now, they will even think that it is actually a live project. It's a live project because you're going to deploy it and people will click on a link to view it. But it is going to also be it's going to be different from your normal basic project, because it's going to look like a project that is actually owned by a business or a company, because the design you created is unique and different. So your designer creates a unique design. You, as a front-end developer, you are going to bring that design to life, right? And if it involves a little back end, your back end friends too can also build the back end, and the three of you have built something that is unique and different and stand out. And then inside the details of that project, now you can also put that, okay, this is a collaboration with my friend, blah 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 blah, who did the design, and and the back end was done by so person, while the front end was done by me. This was how we came about it, and the thought process and everything like that. So not only is it a way for you to showcase a unique project, it's a way to showcase that you have collaboration skills. Like, it is also an experience, right? Because you were able to work on a project that involves not just you, but involves other people as well. So you have collaboration skills. If it's that you guys were using, if it is like, for example, this HNG internship now, so that the HNG, I don't know if they still do that. So this HNG internship is where you work with you be in the teams of maybe like 5, 10, 20, 30, whatever, and all of you are supposed to build a project, right? So it for example, like the first example I gave, where it is just three of you, it is easy for you to have your communication on WhatsApp. You guys can just discuss on WhatsApp. Or if you are even students in the same class, you can have your discussions in the class, right? But working with people from different states, let's start with different states for that HNG internship. You are going to use Slack or maybe Discord or whatever it is you're going to use for your discussions. You're going to use maybe GitHub or Jira to assign tasks and all those other stuff like that. So that one too is also part of experience. It means that you are able to collaborate with other people from remotely. Like, you can work with people remotely. You can collaborate with other people in different countries, different states, different time zones. You are able to use collaborative tools and management tools and stuff like that. So as a beginner, don't just limit yourself to building to-do apps or to-do lists. Do collaborations with your friends, join internship programs where you have to work with different people. And another one which is very interesting is is contributing to open source. Like, open source is on another different level entirely, because with open source you can work with people with different time zones, different cultures. You work on projects and tools that are used by different people, like different people around the world. you get to contribute to a tool that someone is using in another country entirely. You get to learn different things, and you with with open source, you learn how to use like GitHub, for example. Now, even GitHub is being used. GitHub is the go-to collaboration management tool for open source projects. So whether you are a designer, you are a product manager, you are a front end, you are a back end, you are a technical writer, at the end of the day, you are going to learn how to use GitHub, because it is through that GitHub you are going to get tags, you are going to get issues, you are going to submit your the things you have done, which is a pull request. You open a pull request and say and submit everything you've done. That is where everything happens. So that is also another added advantage for you. Imagine being a designer and you contributed to open source, or you're a project manager or product manager and you contributed to open source. You are able to work with different people from different time zones. You are able to use a collaboration tool like GitHub and stuff like that. So that one also is an added advantage to you, to your own portfolio, to your own skills, and it makes you stand out even as a beginner, because it's not easy to contribute to open source app like that. And once you get once you are familiar with it, it becomes easy for you, and you'll be able to have more experience than other beginners would have, because you are able to work on projects with multiple peoples and do collaborations and stuff like that. So that is basically, I think I said too much on how to showcase projects on your portfolio. Is there any other thing I should add? Okay, yes. And you can list out the technologies that you use for that project. So, if you are a developer now, you list out, maybe you use HTML, CSS, JavaScript, you use React, you use Firebase, you use Node.js, you use Laravel. You list out the tools that you use to build that project. If you are a designer, what would you do? I guess if you're a designer, it would be your case story or user story and the tools that you use. How did you gather your data? Maybe you did questionnaires to gather the data or stuff like that. So I don't know. I'm more of a developer and a writer, so I'm just giving examples based on the knowledge I have. So what else again? So the next one is code samples and GitHub. Okay, so it's mostly what I've said before. So in your project, once you list your project, you list links to the project, you list the tools, you list where they can view it. Like if you are a designer, you would use maybe Behance or Dribble to host your designs and stuff like that. If you're a developer, you would use GitHub to host your code. You will use maybe Vercel or Netlify to host the websites and stuff like that, and stuff like that. Yeah. The next one is after your introduction, your project, you can also have other relevant things like maybe your certificates, your awards. Like, okay, your certificate is you got a certificate, you took a course on on what is relevant to the like, how do I say it? You're a developer, your certificate, your award, your volunteer work, etc. has to be something related to the role that you are going for. So if it is a developer, you have to have certificates and awards related to development. If you're a designer, the certificates and awards should be related to design, etc. etc. And if you are a volunteer now, maybe you volunteer in your tech community, maybe as a product manager or as a designer, or you volunteer to tech events. They are always, or you give talks or speeches, maybe you host a Twitter space, like that. All those things too are something, they are experiences that you can add to your portfolio to showcase how diverse you are, and how impactful you are also to the tech community. So the next one is building a personal brand. So your brand is what sets you apart. Your brand is what sets you apart, and it is the theme that runs through your story. So you have to be consistent. Okay, it's what sets you apart, is the thing behind your story. So, for example, your brand can involve your image, like your profile photo, your colors, your icons. Like if you are active on social media, maybe you are active, you want to build your online presence as a developer. You have your portfolio, you have your CV, you are on Twitter, you are on LinkedIn. So you're building a personal brand is like having the same color tone, the same theme across all platforms. Your profile photo is the same thing across all platforms. If you are on your website, maybe your website color is red and orange. So if you are going to be, maybe you like to share maybe tips or tricks on on your social media platform. So if you are building all this, if you are making slides or images or videos, you might want to incorporate your brand color also into all those things, so that when people see a particular post or image on social media, like if you post consistently now, they'll be able to associate that picture or that color to you. Like for example, on my blog now, I have a certain template that I use for my cover images for all my articles, and everything looks the same way. So if I've been posting articles, if I've been posting articles up for consistently, and all of them have the same style or the same way I design my cover images, if tomorrow now somebody is to see a post of an article, maybe somebody reposted my article now, and they don't even need to see that. Even if I'm not the one that posted it by myself, once they see that image now, they'll be able to see like, oh, I've seen this image before. It is Timonwa who does cover images like that. And it's a way for them to identify who you are, to make your own stand. Is it stand? Make your own, be unique on what was the right word? Let's say like make your own stand, make yourself unique, make yourself stand out. That's the right word. Your branding makes you stand out, whether it's offline or online. People are able to identify you with something. So it tells your story and it tells who you are. And for example, if you want to, like I said, it is the theme that runs through your story. So maybe in your personal portfolio now, you might want to have a theme that is about maybe you as a person. You have to showcase who you are through your portfolio. What is your personality? Let someone be able to read through your portfolio and be like, oh, this is how this person is. Let them be able to see and tell who you are as a person. Okay, I'm almost done. I'm almost done. So let them be able to see who you are as a person. So if you want to use a personal theme, maybe as a Star Wars theme like that, now you might want to make sure that it's consistent in all your pages and stuff like that. And the next one is tips to stand out, tips to have a standard portfolio. So be clear and concise with your descriptions. So go straight to the point and don't beat about around the bush. Let it be, someone not be bored. Let them be able to get the most important things from it. And then, like I said, if you want to tell more stories, you can have links to the addition to the extra pages, to your about pages, to your portfolio and stuff like that, so that they can learn more about it. But on your landing page, let the most important informations be there. The next one is to showcase your diverse skills. So don't limit yourself, like I said. If you have volunteer work, show it there. If you host a Twitter space, show it there. If volunteer to events, show it there, so that people will see that you are able to do different things, that you can adapt to different ways. You have both the technical skills and the soft skills like that. So if you contribute to open source, show it there also. And the last one is continuous improvement. So remember that your portfolio is a living document. As you are as a tech person, you are going to evolve. You are going to evolve from being a beginner to a mid developer, or big beginner tech person, to mid to junior to senior, like that. So as you are growing in your skills and your experience, your portfolio should also be growing with you. Your CV too should also be growing with you. Let it be showcasing that if you can't be a mid developer or junior developer and you still have your to-do app inside it, you can't be saying that you know how to write React or Vue now, or use a Laravel PHP framework, and you still have basic beginners project on your portfolio. So your everything has to grow, your portfolio has to grow as you are growing in your skills and experiences. So that's all for my talk. So I hope you guys learned a lot from it. Yeah. Like I said, once I create the slide, I'll share it with the WITEB team and they'll send it to you. So
All right, thank you very much, Timonwa. Thank you for that insightful session. Okay, she said portfolio is like you're writing a story, a 30-second story, and then it should be consistent with your brand. How will you sell your story? So I know lots of people ask questions. So yeah, I'm going to start speaking of the questions I've seen so far. So we're going into the question and answer session now. Okay, so starting with the first question that was the first thing to drop on the chat is Jessica around? She said, what is the difference between resume and CV? Is it just the language, the finesse, or there's a particular thing they're expecting when they say drop your resume, or there's a particular thing they're expecting when they say drop your portfolio? What exactly do they mean, Jessica?
Yeah, some people say that CV is like a detailed version of the resume. So resume is like a one-pager, while CV is like a 2-3 pager. But basically, for me, I don't think that there is any difference. They are both for the same purpose, which is to sell yourself professionally and to tell your professional story. So, but technically, people say resume it's like a one-pager CV. So just like a very one-page summary that just puts like really, really highlights of who you are, why a CV is more a detailed version of the resume.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. So you're saying one is one page, the other one is a detailed version. So anytime they say drop your CV, we should go and look for the detailed version of our CV, like 5 pages. Or what
It
exactly?
differs with
5 page, oh, please.
it should be up to 5 pages, so max. And that's really for really experienced people. That's when it gets to 3. Ideally, it should just be 2 pages. But it's also like, and I also think the technology issue with maybe Africa, Europe, is a continental issue. Some people use resume, some people use CV. So, but I would say if you want to apply for a Nigerian job, use the detailed one. HR here are not really aligned to, for my observation and experience, they're not aligned towards the one pager where it's just highlights. Use the detailed 2-page CV where you have all your information that need to be told there. When you want to do Nigerian job, but when you want to do international jobs, you can afford to use that one pager because that's the route that they go.
Okay, that's good. What do you think about putting pictures on your resume or CV? What do you think about that?
Except you're a creative, and when I mean creative, you're like a senior artist. You're an artist or
Like
something,
the
or
video.
maybe a modeling job. Hey, you shouldn't put your picture on your CV. But maybe like there are some modeling jobs. I know this is the tech event, so I don't think for any tech job you need to put your picture. Except there are some modeling jobs they may say put your picture. Then I've also seen that sometimes some companies want to see how you look like. They will request for your picture, not you having to put your picture on your CV. They will have like an attachment where they say put a picture of yourself. So in such situations you can't do that. But ideally you shouldn't put your picture on your CV.
Oh, okay. So the resume you shared with us earlier, I can see it's like a black and white. So what do you think about resumes that are Canva templates that has lots of colors? People want to like play with colors. I've seen a dark version resume before, seen purple resume, green resume. Do you think that stands any chance of maybe putting your resume higher, or it's just neutral to any recruiter?
I think you should not use color, but if you want to use color, it should be really minute. And one color too. So let's say black and your secondary color. If not, leave it black and white. So some people want to put a bit of blue, and it should not be awkward colors like lemon or really awkward colors. So even if you want to use colors, you should go towards dark version of colors. So dark blue, dark purple. But ideally you leave it like that, but if you want to use colors, that's your decision. But I mean, it should be black and white. But if you must use colors, maybe the headings, maybe just your name, and it shouldn't be too, it should not be too colorful. I advise not to use color at all. Safer for you, stick to your black and white.
Okay, that's perfect. Okay, there was also a particular, what's it called, controversy that broke out when you were talking about adding address on CV and not. So they were like, if you say we should not add address on CV and you say we should add our country code to the phone number, doesn't that automatically tell where you are from? And then what is the difference? So if you are not adding address and you're adding your country code, is it not like contradicting each other?
Oh, well, that's one is not so easy to pick. Plus, international recruiters are not really quick to call you. They will definitely email you first. You just put your phone number there. Nigerian recruiters are the ones that will call, but you just put your phone number there. And I'll just give you like a tip and trick. If you really want, like, if you're looking to do like international jobs and you want a phone number, you could use Skype to generate your phone number and put it there. So what you do for you is that they will call you, then you can access them. Oh, I'm in Nigeria. I stay in Nigeria. You understand? So that way, if they still want to go ahead, oh, well and good, but at least you should have given them a chance. It should have given you a chance, them to meet you. So I know people like that have gotten good jobs, that when the company eventually met them, they're like, okay, let's like it's test and trial. And after the test and trial, they liked the people and they kept them. So, but it would be better. You could do that, but you could also put your phone number if you want to do just email, that's also fine. But sometimes recruiters want to call you. International recruiters, they call like, to confirm your availability for a job or something. So you could use Skype route. Skype has, I think they just pay maybe a minimum fee and then they give an account number. But when they call them, please be honest, because if you lie to them and they give you a job, they will still sack you when they find out that you're staying in.
Okay, so meaning we can take the Skype route by using that one to generate a phone number. Is that what you're saying? Skype does that.
Nigeria. So let it be their.
Your audio is keeping. Okay, let me just move on to the next question. Jessica, are you still there? Or should just move on to the portfolio's question?
Yeah, sorry, my network is breaking. I can hear you.
Okay, so you mentioned something about not having a generic resume. So are you saying that every time I see a job post, I should always update my CV before applying?
Well, that's difficult to keep up with, but you could have a CV for a specific job role. So your CV should be tailored to the specific job role. And then there are some jobs I see that I have interest in, that I feel the need to edit my CV to suit the job requirements. So that's up to you. So me, I try to weigh my options. So am I interested in this job? Is this something that I really want to pursue? If I feel like it's something I'm really interested in, I want to pursue, I will update my CV if my CV doesn't meet like certain requirements, or if I see from the job description that there's a requirement that I have, but it's not on my CV, I would replace it, edit it, replace it to show that requirement that I have that skill, depending on the job. But I don't do it for every job because I know that it's not sustainable, so I'm not going to preach it. So, but have a specific CV for a specific job role. So all your front end role, you have the CV for it. All the back end, for people who are full stack, all the back end role, you have the CV for it. For roles that are full stack, you have the specific CV for it. So that's how I like to segment it.
Okay, thank you very much, Jessica. So one last question before we move on to Timonwa. So basically, what do you think about adding socials to your resume? For example, adding your Twitter account, Instagram account, your LinkedIn account, adding links to them on your resume. Is that good, or should we add more? Should we reduce it? Or so what should we look out for?
If you have a good digital print, you should. Like people who are doing community manager roles, that for example, they could add their socials. If she's a community management, if you have very active following and you're posting and you're able to manage an account, and you add your socials, and somebody goes to socials and see what you have there, it gives you an advantage if something substantial. Well, before you add your socials, ensure that your profile is up to date, your profile is neat, is concise. You don't have anything that will make them not pick you. You don't have anything that will put you in bad light. So if you ideally, I tell people could just add your LinkedIn. LinkedIn socials is the best socials for professional job search. So people have different prejudices and bias. I may not like green color now, and I see that you address one very green gown on your social, and that may just make me not pick you when I go to your social. So, but save yourself that stress, except maybe what you're looking for is like a social media manager or community manager. I know that will help you showcase your skills. But if not, LinkedIn is fine. Keep it to LinkedIn and LinkedIn alone. That way, you're able to tell your story effectively.
Okay, and I also want to add to what Jessica just said now. So there's something that they usually say when it comes to like in Twitter, when it comes to mostly developers, designers, and co about learning in public. Learning in public is means that maybe as a beginner, right? Once you are learning something, you are developing your skills and stuff like that. So learning in public is you are talking about it and sharing it with people in public, which is you are sharing it on Twitter, or maybe you are a creative and you share it through shorts or reels through Instagrams or LinkedIn and stuff like that. So if you are someone like that who is always sharing your experiences, your growth, and how you are learning your stuff on Twitter and on LinkedIn or Instagram, or maybe you are a creative who creates short and reels, maybe short tutorials and stuff like that, and you share it on such platforms like that. You can also add it. Anyway, I'm not talking. Am I talking? Okay, you can also add all those links to your resume, so that if they click on it, they will also see that actually you even you can see they can learn more about you on your timeline on Twitter or LinkedIn about more of the skills and things that you do through that also. So that's what I wanted to add.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Timonwa. All right. So how about social media people, social media managers and community managers? Do you think they should have a portfolio? And if yes, how should their portfolio look like? Or should they also craft a website? What should be there as their projects and live links?
Okay, so for a portfolio, right? Portfolio doesn't essentially mean a website. Your portfolio could be a Google Drive. Your portfolio could be on Notion. You can have a Notion page on Notion. Your portfolio can be a website. Your portfolio can even be a PDF also. It all depends on what you want to show. Like for your CV now, we have CVs where you can add links, clickable links on your PDF for your CV. So if you want to use a PDF to showcase your portfolio, just ensure that the links that are there are clickable. So whether you are a product manager or social media manager, you can also showcase the products or projects or businesses or social media handles that you've managed. You showcase them and you tell your stories on whatever medium you want to use, and ensure that the relevant links are there for them to click on. So your portfolio does not necessarily have to be a website. So don't think that, okay, because I don't have the skills to build a website or you don't have money to build a website, that does not mean then you automatically don't have a portfolio. There are different ways you can have your portfolio. There are even this bio link, what's it called, link tree. There's link tree, there's bio link, there's disha. So there are some of these bio link platforms that you can use that has some features there. There are some that can allow you to embed YouTube videos. There are some that can allow you to have different sections inside your bio link. So there are some people who actually use that as their own portfolio. So there are different mediums that you can use. You just have to figure out which one is relevant to you, or can showcase yourself, showcase your personality through it. So just figure out the ones that is easy for you to use. There's Notion, there's building a website, you can use WordPress, you can have your fellow developers, you can collaborate with your fellow developers to build one for you or something like that. So portfolio is not limited to a website.
Okay, yeah, that is very good. So yeah, can you please help us drop those non-code platforms where someone can build their portfolio? You mentioned the Sha about Linktree. Please help us drop them in the chat for people to pick them up. So yeah,
Oh,
what I really enjoyed about Timonwa session is that portfolio is you telling a story. So for whatsoever position you are, either a developer, non-code techie, or even a manager role, how well can you tell your story? And it doesn't have to be live projects. Designers and developers have really revamped the name portfolio that they have to like click into websites. Website has to do it 360 before it lands, and then you'll be wondering, oh, I'm a social media manager. What do I do? You need to learn the art of storytelling. You can basically just craft something down and then maybe take it to an AI. Now, the world has really evolved. You can use an AI, but you should make sure it's just not generic and formal. People should be able to relate with it. Okay, as a social media manager, I've been able to grow this particular account from 0 to 0. This was the thing we achieved in the last past. You can even use what's it called? This charts or graphs or basically anything to show your growth from when you started to where you are currently. So if you think okay, as a community manager also, I've seen a community manager portfolio. The person used Notion and then wrote some events that she has worked on the particular event, what the event was about, the goal, and then the results of the event. Different events, you can put it there. You can write a story about it. So basically, it's all about storytelling. Even both resume, portfolio, building a brand, building your LinkedIn profile. It's all about telling your story. So how well can you tell your story? And then when you're telling your story, leave printable marks on people's art. Like Timonwa mentioned, she said, be consistent with your colors, be consistent with your images, be consistent with your icons. So that but when they see something and they say, this particular thing looks very familiar. Oh, I think this is from Timonwa. I think this is from Oe. So that is basically what building a resume and building a portfolio is all about. So yeah, thank you so much, Timonwa. And yeah, that is all questions on our hand. So if you have any additional question, please feel free. And Timonwa just drop these non-code platforms where you can build your portfolio. She says get the SHA, Notion, Linktree, BioLink, Behance, Dribble, Google Drive. So Google Drive, you can basically upload a PDF or something there. So yeah, that is all. That is like a wrap of today's session. I know it's very long. That's why it's called a workshop. So thank you for everybody that stayed to the very end. You guys are the real MVP. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. And yeah, that's a wrap from our end. Hopefully we'll get to have more of these sessions. And I'm wishing you all success in your job, hunting. And then hopefully this year is going to end on a good news for every one of us. And then your resume, they're expecting your resume revamp soon. I mean your resume review and your portfolio review from us soon. So before Wednesday, you should start getting your reviews because I think they're almost done with the reviewing. So thank you very much for joining. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye
Bye-bye.
everyone. Bye.